Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's family conversation. Today we have Mitch here. And so, Mitch, tell us who you are, how'd you wind up at Every Nation, what community you're part of, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I'm Mitch. I think I came here like 7 years ago or something.
Is that how long it was?
I think so.
7 years. Actually, funny story. You showed up, and then you were like, you wanted to move into the house with a bunch of the guys that we lived in. And I was like, there's this new guy, and I'm gonna have to share a room. You know, like I'm gonna have to split my room in half. And I remember wrestling it through, but like I just got my own room at the house, you know, and I'm like, and this guy wants to come in, and your reasoning for wanting to move in, you're just like, I just really want to be part of this community. I just really want to be part of some community. I really want to invest in relationships. And I'm like, wow, that's hard to say no to. So I split my room in half. I move everything to the corners, and you show up with a backpack and a pillow. And I'm like, where's all your stuff? It's like, no, this is everything. Oh, and a metal chest. And
and a metal chest.
And then this guy, for all of you guys who don't know Mitch, he slept on the floor with no blanket and a pillow for 4 or 5 months.
No, I had a blanket. I had no blanket.
Most of the time when I'd come into the room, there was just a man laying on my floor. That's all I remember.
Yeah, that was a big sacrifice.
Remember thinking, why did I get rid of half my stuff? Like, you don't need any space.
Oh,
anyways, I digress. Yes, 7 years ago, you moved into my room.
Yeah, that's true. It was funny because I actually found the church through someone at the gym. I was like doing sessions with them, and we were starting to get into conversations about God. Mm-hmm. And then I bring them to my church, and they're like, actually, I went to like this church called Victory back in the Philippines a long time ago. And they're like, I wonder if they got any like victories over here. And they search it up. And
kinda.
Yeah. And so I just came with him, and I'm like, this place is great. So,
awesome. So what community you're a part of?
Langara West.
Langara West. Yeah. Not to be confused with Langara East.
Yeah.
Why are they named that?
I guess just because they're on different sides of the campus.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just led you into that. That was very unkind. Sorry, Mitch. Okay, so it's been a season, as Christians like to say.
Yeah, it's very Christian.
It's been a season. Sure what has. About this season has stood out to you? Like, what have you been learning? What's kind of been the banner statement if you had to sum it up?
It's just like a big mess. Everything.
It's a big mess.
Everything's falling apart. It's not predictable. It's not comfortable.
No.
Can't plan anything.
No.
I love like planning stuff. I'm not that good at planning stuff, but I like to plan. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Try planning a wedding, Mitch.
Yeah.
In the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm resonating with you.
Yeah.
It's hard to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think then if it's all a big mess? What has this been teaching you about your relationship with God? Has he been speaking you through this, or does it all just feel like a big mess?
Yeah, it does feel like a big mess. But I think like I was looking at the mess. I'm like, man, this is like horrible. I'm getting discouraged. This isn't fun. I'm like anxious about what the future is going to look like. Mm-hmm. And through all of that, I got led through the book of Job. And it's like,
that's a good place to be right now.
Yeah. Like it's very applicable. Like Job's life is falling apart. And just seeing like, it's kind of funny because Job is like going through all this stuff. And I think it's the first time I read that book and I was like, this is comforting. I don't think I've actually been like, I mean, maybe I have, but like, I feel stressed enough that I can relate, at least in a tiny bit, to what Job is going through. Like, just like it's obviously not anywhere near as bad, but.
Yeah, no. That's most of humanity being like, I feel like Job right now. And everyone's just like, really?
Yeah.
You read Job? But no, I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah.
You've gotten a window into what it's like to suffer.
Yeah.
You found it comforting.
Yeah, and like there's one part where like Job's friends come, and I think it's in like chapter 26 or 29, I can't remember, but Job is like so blatantly sarcastic with his friends. He's just like, wow, like thanks you so much for coming here and comforting me, and he's like just obviously being the complete opposite. And I'm like, oh, I love Job. Like he's not gonna like stuff his feelings or like put on a happy face. He's just gonna be like, no, this isn't great.
Yeah.
And I refuse to be nice to make it more comfortable for everyone else. I'm like, this is great. I love
he
this.
really stays present in the situation, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He stays present. He doesn't try to escape it. What do you think if you were to sum up, like, what do you think the point of Job is? Like, what do you think that Job, his big realization is? Like, why is it comforting? Like, what is he kind of admitting? Or where does his comfort come from?
Yeah, well, in the middle of it, like, his friends come, he's not like really clicking with them at all. And then at the end, he basically meets God directly, and that's what he was been saying the whole way. Like, I want God. I don't want
give me an
anything
answer.
else.
Yeah,
like, I need something clear. Like, everything's blurry right now. I need something clear, please, something clear.
right. And then God says,
it's like, you're not gonna get an answer. Basically, you're not God.
You're not God. Yeah,
you're not God. And it's like, oh.
So, do you feel like God's telling you this season you're not God?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like you can't
glad.
control.
I'm so glad you're not God, Mitch. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna throw my lot in with him on that one. No offense, but yeah, no, it's true. It's amazing that the lengths that God will go to reveal the fact that we're not God. We make ourselves gods very, very easily.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's a nice sentiment, and it's a very, very true one to be like, okay, things are difficult, things are chaotic, the future is uncertain, and the big lesson we're taking away is, I'm not God. I need God. I need a real God, not myself. I need one that is capable and powerful, one that doesn't, owe me an answer or anything, and one that actually has the power to change things. But I don't know about you, but that takes a ton of faith and a ton of trust.
Yeah.
And it's a nice thought to go, oh, yay, I don't understand everything. What a beautiful slow pitch to needing a salvation from something outside of me. Yeah. Like, when you write it down, it's like, all right, logic flows. If you were to do the logic equation, it's like, I am no longer God. I realize that I don't understand things. Therefore, I need a God. It's like, okay, great. That makes sense. And it's a whole other thing to then day in and day out believe that and walk in that. What's so fascinating about Job to me is that he actually is okay with it. He walks in faith of who God is. It's one thing to understand that intellectually, of like, I need a God. It's another thing to go, I don't need an explanation from you. That takes so much faith. And we've been talking a lot about faith over these last weeks. And I mean, we're always talking about faith. It seems it's essential to anything we'd ever talk about at church and in our family. But how's it been going with that faith journey?
It's really all over. I think faith, at least for me, is such a loaded word.
Yes.
It's like,
you struggle with it sometimes?
I don't like it a lot of the time.
What don't you like about it?
It's,
I ask that because I agree with you. Sometimes it annoys me too.
Oftentimes it just feels naive, like, have faith that God is going to do A, B, and C. And yes, God gives us promises, and there's certain things that he says are going to happen. But we don't know how they're going to happen. Like, we have no guarantee of how that's actually going to come about.
No.
And so for me, when I hear faith, or when I have heard faith, like, a lot of times it's just like, oh, well, you got to believe for A, B, and C. And I'm like, I'm thinking, like, you're setting me up for disappointment. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, Job certainly wasn't treated that way by God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The friends were treating him like that. They were like, you got to follow the rules, and then, if you do A, B, and C, then everything will be fine. And Job was like, I'm pretty sure I'm innocent. Like, that's what he was saying. I'm not saying I'm innocent, but what I'm saying is, like, it's not a guarantee at all.
Right. Faith isn't a guarantee of an outcome.
Yeah.
This is what Eric was talking about last week.
Yeah.
As he was saying that, like, I thought if I surrendered to God, then cool things would happen.
Yeah.
And as soon as you go, as soon as you attach outcomes, then things get really, really, it shoots the endeavor in the foot entirely, right? If the goal is trust and relationship. So, when I hear Job's friends talk, I hear them trying to be optimistic. And everything, even in me, like, if you were to tell me about how hard the last 4 months has been and tell me all the stories about how it's chaotic and how it's frustrating, everything in me would want to rescue you too, right? I would want to be optimistic, and I would probably tell you that I'd probably find some way to encourage you that it's all going to work out. And that's just optimism. Whether it's true or not, I don't think optimism and faith are the same thing.
Yeah.
So how would you separate naive optimism, like Job's friends,
Mm-hmm.
versus actually, I think what God was trying to get Job to have, which is true faith. The kind that doesn't give you a gag reflex when you hear it. Like, not the naive optimism faith.
Yeah.
The true trust-based relationship. Like, how do you pull those apart?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like the big thing I was starting to realize. I'm like, if my faith is dependent on like whatever the thing is, and it's not durable, it's not mature, it's good, it's doomed to fail.
Yeah.
It has to be. And so like the thing that's been kind of saying out to me is like the only thing God is promising is that he's going to be there and he's going to welcome me. And that's the promise. Like there's other promises involved, but like I don't know how they're going to carry out and how they're going to unfold, but the promises during whatever that path looks like, he will be there and he will welcome me. That's
it's almost as though the miracle of the story is that God answers Job at all.
Yeah.
We think we want more than that, don't we?
Yeah.
Like we want more. Like we want answers.
Mm-hmm.
And God shows up and goes, I'm right here and I'm not going to give you one. And for me, it's like, wow, it's a lot to wrestle with going, would I be content with just being with him and knowing that he sees me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you? That really is it.
Yeah, that's the struggle.
Because horrible things can happen.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Help us then. If you were to encourage our church with something and you were to say, okay, I found myself in a chaotic moment. I found myself not getting a lot of answers. How would you encourage the church? Like, be like, okay, no, faith in the truest sense of the word is worth it because... I put a lot of words in your mouth.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'm just thinking of like, God will meet you there and like, you don't have to pretend to be something else. You know, like, I think like the big question God has asked me is like, will you actually be my child? Like, you're going to fall down, you're going to do whatever, and I will be there. You don't have to pretend to be something else.
Right.
You can be frustrated. You can be whatever. Just be that with me kind of idea.
Wow, that's profound. Yeah. Maybe the point of Job is that it's a contrast between who's a better friend.
Yeah.
The friends or God.
Yeah.
And he's just a much better friend, or so it would seem, despite the clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a deeply encouraging thing. I love this. That's a profound truth that you're saying, that what faith is him being there is enough. And being with him is enough. Which is what we're promised for eternity, is being with him. Like that's the outcome.
Yeah.
That's all we've ever really been promised. And so I think that's really cool. I've always appreciated, Mitch, the way that you've fought for faith and found God in the midst of disappointment and calamity and frustration. That sounds like that's a hard road. And you've fought that for a long time. I remember you shared at one of the DG leaders meetings in the fall. And you're like, here's how Jesus is revealed to me in, I think you used the word failure. Didn't you? Remember at the DG leaders meeting? You're like, here's all the things I failed at. And it's just not about that. Like, wow, that's encouraging. That's funny. Isn't it funny, hey? The economy of God to go. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for kind of carrying that mantle of going, Jesus is enough. He's a better friend. And it seems that God seems to be quite comfortable putting you in chaotic situations that don't make sense. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like it's a hallmark of, I've known you for a long time now, and it's a thing he keeps doing to you. And so thank you for your faith in staying engaged and not being afraid to talk about that, because it just blesses us all. And it advances the kingdom in mighty ways. Because I don't think God's looking for successful people. I think he's looking for faithful people who like are his friend. And I think you're a really close friend of Jesus.
Well,
and it's really inspiring. Yeah, no problem. I would love to can I just pray for you as we wrap up? That'd be great. Father, thank you for Mitch and for his perseverance and for the faith in the truest sense of the word that he exhibits all the time. Thank you for the weight that he carries. And I thank you that his faith is not built on optimism. It's built on a deep trust-based relationship with you. And God, I ask that you'd make him fruitful. I ask that you would accomplish your will through his life. But more than that, I ask that you would be his friend and that he would welcome you into his life as a friend. God, we know that you are sufficient. You are sufficient for our souls. And we just turn away from idols yet again. And I thank you for the way that Mitch tears down idols. He claws at idols. And I've seen him do it for years and years and years. And thank you for the testimony that he is to our church and for the way that he blesses us. And God, I ask that we would be a community that removes these idols, be it even ministry, be it even revival, be it clarity, be it all good things. God, let it never be a replacement for you. Yeah. And I pray that faith would not be a word that kind of frustrates us, but it would be a invitation into a sufficiency of a relationship with you. And I just ask that you'd bring whatever chaos and calamity into our lives that you would need to get our attention. I know those are dangerous things to pray, but I know that it sounds like a prayer Mitch would pray. And so, God, I pray that you would continue to draw him close and do whatever you need to do to have that be the source of who he is. And thank you for just who he is and how well he chooses you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Oh, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was fun. I haven't hung out with you in like 4 months. This is the best part of these family conversations. I get to actually see people. It's pretty great. So. It's like he's taunting us. We'll get him. He's running the silver pole.
No, I'm not fast enough.
That was the slowest attempt I've ever seen.
I didn't want to like knock it over. Can you imagine?
I'll get the flag. I'll get him. Tried to held its hand. He didn't try to swat it. I've never seen someone swat a fly so slowly before in my entire life.
I was trying to capture the fly, you know?
You're trying to release it to the wild? Just like, and then be free. No, don't kill it! Don't kill it!
Oh, man.
Wow.
I have some stories about that, actually.
Do you? You got some PETA friends?
I was at the gym, and all of a sudden this random person comes up and like, there's a dragonfly stuck. Because we have like a window and there's like a piece of wood. So the dragonfly got stuck in between the two things. I can't get out. Yeah. Like, you gotta help that dragonfly. I'm like, okay.
I'm not paid enough for this.
So I grab like this stick and like
squish it? Just like smash, 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 smash. Got it.
Not is that what you wanted?
Is that what you wanted? It's dead. It's dead. I got it.
Oh my gosh, that would have been.
Did they say you got to do something about this dragonfly, or did they say you got to capture the dragonfly and name it, nurse it back to health, and release it into the wild?
Oh man, that'd be hilarious just to see the expression on their face.
It's like, I'll get it.
I got it. Done.
I got 4 minutes of great dragonfly footage.
Oh no. Dragonfly. Just post that.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody. This has been a family conversation with Mitch.